Yo, what's good? Happy Saturday, everybody. July 5th. I'll give a little recap of yesterday, then we'll move forward. Went 4 for 5. Just missed out with Tucker there. Had the right read there. They shelled McCullough for 6 home runs. He just didn't hop on, so missed out there. Lefties wise, they hit 5 home runs in that game. 4 against McCullough himself though, being Pete Crow Armstrong went for 2, and then Bush went for 2 as well. And then as a team, they hit 8 total on the game. He was our home run pick as well, so missed out on the hit as well as the home run. But Soto went 3 for 4. He just missed a cycle by a triple against the Yankees there, and then Reyes went 2 for 4 with 2 singles and also walked. And then I'm going to say Springer, same thing, 2 for 4 with 2 singles, and then Nimmo went 1 for 4 with a double there. So all those people, going for 2+ bases, that is another variation of this that you can do. If you're feeling, the basis bets there, you can do that as well. When going with people for power, and on today, I'm not gonna lie, like, these spots that I like today, like these people are in position, to hit for power, to say the least. Starting out, I like James Wood of Washington going against Walker Buehler of Boston, someone that we've attacked frequently. Really struggles on the road, really struggles with lefties. What you know about Washington, full of lefties. They may have 2 righties, at most. The first, 4 or so, maybe 5 batters that he sees, they're going to be lefties. Starting with Abrams, you got Wood, you got Garcia, you got Lowe, you got Bell. He's going to see a whole bunch of lefties today. I'll speak to his splits. Away versus home. Both 7 games started each. He has a 341 batting average given up on the road versus a 220, at home. So significant difference there. And then lefty-righty splits, giving up a 329 average to lefties, 214 to righties, with a 912 OPS to lefties and an 801 to righties. So really platoon split there, difference there. He's also given up 472 weighted OVA with a 240 whip to lefties. And then you got, Wood here is striking out a little bit here at 29%. I will say this, that's a little higher end of it, but also is walking, at a high rate as well. So he's also has a 195 WRC plus. I'm okay with the strikeouts there, given the fact that Buehler's not necessarily striking lefties out at a high rate. I feel like Wood has enough, decent enough batters, sorry, around him in which that he should be okay to get some pitchers here that he can hit. But I like that, against Buehler. Buehler, I've attacked on the road multiple times. If you've been watching, his last couple away starts I'll speak to real quick. Was at the Angels 2 weeks ago. Gave up 10 base runners, 5 earned there, 1 home run. Seattle gave up 12 base runners, 8 earned, 1 home run. New York, the Yankees wise, gave up 9 base runners, 5 earned, 2 home runs there. And then was at Atlanta, gave up 12 base runners, 5 earned there, 2 home runs. So someone that is giving up base runners as well as earned runs, and as well as the home runs too. Has given up a home run in his last 7 starts. In 3 out of those 7, he's given up 2+ home runs. So, someone here, and as I was just speaking to about the power, Wood, someone that can hit for power. As of late, his ISO, isn't necessarily high by any means, but, over the course of the year, he has over a 900 OPS versus right-handed pitching. So this is ideal matchup for him as well as the lefties in that lineup for Washington. Next up, I like Barger of Toronto going against I say his name Kashanowitz or whatever. I can't pronounce his name from the Angels here. If you've been paying attention as well, this is someone else that I've been attacking. Really struggles with lefties here too, so we're attacking the platoon split again here. He's getting up a 300 average to 272 to righties, and then a 900 OPS for lefties versus a 713 for righties. Barger is one of the few lefties in that Toronto lineup. They only got him, Lukes, Um, and I want to say that might be it from the left hand side. Yeah, I want to say that's it. They might be the only two that are, quite naturally getting playing time. So he's gonna have to see those two. Barger slotted in at the 5 spot today, um, after Bichette, before Kirk. I will say, Gashana Woods, his um, averages, versus righties too is quite not good either. So he's not safe from those righties as well. So I don't see him walking, or trying to get past these lefties to get to these righties. When you have Springer, when you have Vlad, when you have Bichette, when you have Kirk. Vlad also returns today, so like I don't see him walking past them to get to the righties either. So either way, I see Toronto getting to him. Um, and I'll speak to his most recent games as well. Sorry if I sound crazy. I don't know. Allergy something. Got a little stuffy nose. New York. He was away at the Yankees. Went 5 1/3 there. Gave up 5 base runners, 2 home runs there. And then Baltimore gave up 6 base runners, 2 earned, 2 home runs there. And then this is someone susceptible, to giving up the long ball. Hasn't won 6 innings since May 26th against the Yankees. And Yankees have been hit and miss, offensive wise. I will say this year. I want to say that was around the time that they were quite naturally not that well, but that was a home game. And then Cleveland. I missed this Cleveland away start. Went 3 2/3, 8 base runners, 4 earned there, and 1 home run. And as I mentioned yesterday, what you know about Cleveland, a bunch of lefties. So I like this for Barger. I like this for Toronto as a whole. They've been hot, for weeks on end. So I like them to get to him here. And I didn't even mention. All right, so Deshaun Woods, his weighted OBA to left-handed batters is 375, and then he has a 138 whip to him. And then Barger has a 228 WRC plus, 20% K rate versus right-handed pitching. Next up, I have Perez of the Tigers going against Logan Allen of Cleveland. So Allen's already pitched once against Detroit this year. I don't think Perez played that game. Allen only went 3 2/3 there. Gave up 10 base runners, 4 earned. 10 base runners, 4 earned there against them. That was in Detroit. Gave up 1 home run as well. I see Detroit getting to him. Allen's he's just like all right. He is getting to 6 innings here. Did against St. Louis, as well as Cincy and Houston here, but he's still giving up the earned runs, at least 2+ earned runs in this last 5 starts. He did have a whole bunch of home starts in June as well. So and he's still giving up these earned runs, still giving up home run in 4 out of the 5 games here. Has 2+ walks in 4 out of the 5 games as well. And then his last, so say for instance, the St. Louis game, he gave up 8 base runners. Toronto gave up 10 base runners. At San Fran Pitchers Ballpark, he gave up 6 base runners there. Gave up 5 against Cincy, decent game. And then Houston gave up 9 base runners there. So I like this. They've already seen Allen this year. He's giving up a lower average to righties, I will say. Still giving up a 328 weighted OBA, a 152 whip, is walking them as well. Perez is one of those dudes that's in that Detroit lineup for lefties. Has a 290 WRC plus, 8% K rate against left-handed pitching. He's going to see, Perez. He's going to see Carlson, Torres. I don't know if Jones is in there as well, I believe. But he's going to see a good amount of righties here, on today. Cleveland just hasn't been good, as of late at all. So I expect them to get to Allen here. I don't necessarily like Mize on the other side of the mound either. He's not good in my opinion, so you could look over here for the total for the game. Yeah, as a whole, too. But I like Perez here. Next up, I like Dominguez of the Yankees going against Frankie Montez of the Mets. So from this year, you'll say Montez is doing good against lefties, but it's only a 2-game sample size. So I'm not really counting. Like, he went against Atlanta and he went against, Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh got to him. Atlanta didn't. In which, if you guys remember, I was attacking him that game against Atlanta, and they didn't do much of anything. But he went to Pittsburgh and got shelled last week. Gave up 8 base runners, 6 earned, 2 home runs there. So I didn't really, I went by his last year's split because I just feel like these 2 games really aren't, anything that can attest to like what he's doing yet. So, over the course of last year, he had a 374 weighted OBA, 166 whip, 2 left-handers, and then he had a home. I don't need to speak to his home run rate, but he had a high home run rate against lefties as well. So when I first did this, I expected the Yankees to put Dominguez, at the one slot, as at the leadoff, as they did yesterday. But for some reason, they put Grisham there. I don't know why. I don't understand that. Dominguez has been hot, over the course of the past couple weeks. So not quite understanding that. I liked it because, hitting in front of Judge, his protection. They're not going to walk you to get to Judge. But today they got him slotted in at the 6 hole there, I believe. Still like the spot, I believe the Yankees get to Montez. Not good, as I mentioned, got shelled against Pittsburgh, who's not a good offensive team by any means. What I mentioned when he was going against Atlanta a couple weeks ago, he was getting shelled in AAA, bad. So just Atlanta hasn't been a good offensive team by any means, on this year. And so, you got the Yankees, who are a pretty good offensive team. They have their times when they're not necessarily good, but overall they're good. So, their pitching just hasn't been there. So this could be, one of those, another over games. But at the same time, I would say more over on their side because I don't know if I see the Mets getting to Rodon here. I don't know necessarily their numbers against left-handed pitching. But I do like Dominguez here, against Montez. This is also a spot that you could look at Judge home run wise. I know it's cliche to say, but Montez for some reason is struggling against righties here in this 2-game sample size, in which Judge has been hot, as of late as well, having like a 321 ISO against right-handed pitching. So that is a spot that you could attack on today against Montez. Next up, last one, I like Josh Naylor of Arizona. Arizona's going against Waka of Kansas City. Someone who hasn't been good as of late, is really taking a decline. From May to June, he went from a 2.45 ERA to a 5.40 ERA. He doesn't really give up power, I will say that, but he's starting to. This month alone, he's given up 6 home runs, and across 5 games, and then it's in 3 out of those 5. He's given up 2+. So starting to give up power. More to the right-hand side, but for average-wise, he is given up an average to left-handers, in which why I'm attacking with Naylor here, sliding in at cleanup. 303 weighted OBA, as I mentioned, over the course of the year, he's not necessarily giving up power, but as of late he is. Giving up a 133 whip to lefties. Naylor has a 178 WRC plus, a 23% K rate. And just because I feel like I didn't mention it for Dominguez, he has a 241 WRC plus and a 22% K rate against right-handed pitching for that Montas matchup. Apologies there. But back to Naylor. I believe Arizona gets to Walker here. Walker has not been good on the road by any means. His splits, from home to away, has given up a 271 batting average on the road versus 242 at home. 275 average to lefties versus 239 to righties. As I said, giving up more power to righties, though. I will say that much, but I'm not necessarily looking for power here for Naylor. So I'll speak to his last couple away games. Went to Seattle, got shut. So if you know Seattle, Seattle's a pitcher's ballpark. He got shelled there for 10 base runners, 5 earned. And then against the Rangers, he did pitch pretty good there, in which, the only lefty that you're really worried about there is Seager. Josh Smith, can, hit there at the leadoff spot, but I believe that's around the time that he was injured too. So, only lefty there that he had to get past was Seager. And then, the White Sox got some base runners on him with 7 and 3 earned there, and he gave up 2 home runs against the White Sox. And then last one went to Minnesota and gave up 8 base runners, 4 earned there, and 2 home runs. So I like this spot for Arizona. They just got killed yesterday, I think 11-3 or so. And so I believe they bounce back here against Walker, who has been struggling as of late. Is not the Walker of last year, which he was pretty decent. So those are my 5 in order. I like Naylor, Wood, Barger, Perez, and Dominguez in that order. I don't necessarily have a home run pick on today. As I mentioned, most of these people are in spots, to hit for power here. So if you, like, as I said, 2+ bases, 3+ bases, you can do that as well. I'd say the most that I like for power-wise is Wood and Barger. They're in good spots against pitchers that are giving up home runs to their side of the plate at a high rate. Bueller, Kashanowitz there. But those are my top 5. If you want to be notified when I post, please subscribe and turn on your notifications, like, comment, share. Also do post my plays and recap and just keeping up, with you guys on IG at Amolytics. Follow that. I thank you. Have a great day.